Today is day 6 of MLO training. I had a complete career transition this year, so I went and took the S.A.F.E MLO exam, which allows you to be licensed in whatever state you choose to serve mortgage products to the public. So first you're probably wondering, why take a S.A.F.E MLO exam? My own home buying experience, which was horrible. I went through 3 mortgage lenders before finally finding one who actually sent my loan estimate in the 3 days, who actually followed up with me to see if, hey, do you want to still proceed with this? So I could give her my intent to proceed. And she was just really on it. And it dawned on me, I said, you know what was lacking in this whole buying process? Was that I had no representation for myself. When I looked out for mortgage lenders, when I was looking for a realtor, I didn't see me. I saw people that did not look like me, it did not click with me until after that experience. And I said, hey, the next time someone needs a loan, they could just come to me, and this way they could find someone who's representative of them. A woman, a younger woman, a woman who's of color, a woman who is Black. I said this would be an opportunity, and I jumped on it. This exam is 125 questions. It's 3 hours long, and 25 of those questions don't even count towards your score. But you never know which ones do, which ones don't. So it was an incredibly long process. I started in September, my studying, and I finally took the test in November and didn't pass it. So I signed right back up for December and passed it. So in between those days, you have 30 days you have to wait before you can take the exam again, which is not a cakewalk. You have to know ethics, you have to know federal regulation, and you have to know mortgage loan originating procedures. All of that is crammed into your 20-hour pre-licensing coursework that you have to take. I did it through Mortgage Educators, which is instructed by David Luna. It's not a paid video, but if you wanted to go that route, I highly recommend taking their course, Mortgage Educators. It'll run a couple of hundred, depending on who you get employed with, because you do need someone to sponsor you, and that can be a brokerage, it could be a lending company like a bank, but they have to sponsor you because you need a surety bond. Maybe if you take the course, they will reimburse you, or if you take the course, they'll just flat out pay for it. But just remember, we are always exchanging time for money, and companies do that as well. They exchange money for your time. So you might be indebted to stay with that company longer than what you're intending to if they pay for your course. I don't want to be indebted to anyone. I just paid out of pocket for it. I think it was totally worth it. Every sale is going to count, because that's what a mortgage loan is. It's a sale. And literally, same year I bought my home, this year is the same year I've become a mortgage loan officer. It's totally attainable. I highly recommend, if you're gonna go for it, you do as many practice tests as you can from Mortgage Educators. The format is almost identical to the actual test. The questions aren't identical, but they're extremely similar to what's on the actual test. With a few numbers and names that are changed on the test, you'd be able to pass it. And whatever I was getting wrong on the practice test, I was writing them down as notes, and then going back and studying those. But if you want to get into the real estate business, but you don't necessarily want to be a realtor or a mortgage loan officer, there are other avenues to explore. I just learned of one the other day, being on YouTube actually, and it is called a notary signing agent. So there's loan processors, there are underwriters, there are notary signing agents in this process as well. There are appraisers in this process as well. Of course, there are attorneys in this process as well. There are other avenues you could take, maybe just entry level without doing any kind of licenses or procedures. You may want to be a coordinator. It's very stressful, but if you wanted to do an entry-level way into it, you can be a realtor coordinator, you could be a mortgage coordinator, and that's really just chasing the paperwork around from the client and giving it over to the loan officer, who gives it to the processor, who gives it to the underwriter. It's a whole cycle. Let me show you what I mean. I'm excited, I'm nervous, I am full of gratitude that I definitely did this. I know that it was quite a surprise for everyone that I wanted to just step away from being in the corporate world and just try stepping into my own entrepreneur world, which is entrepreneurship that you're embarking on. But sometimes the best bet you're ever going to take is on yourself, and you have to go and drop maybe your last dime on yourself. Instead of spending that $600 on that nice Yves Saint Laurent wallet, guilty, you should probably spend that towards your classes, which is what I told myself, and that is what I did. There's always a give and take. There's always a sacrifice. But if you're gonna bet on anyone, bet on yourself. Hope this video inspires or at least gives you some insight about the exam. If there's anything you take away from it, 125 questions, 25 don't count, 3 hours long, and it is gonna be proctored and monitored if you decide to do it from your home, which I did, because there's a raging pandemic out there and there's definitely no cure, but that's for a whole nother video. And lastly is to study those practice tests. Focus more on that, because the goal is to pass your exam. You need a minimum of 75 to pass your exam. Hope this helps.